And people actually still believe this stuff when they like. Okay, let's talk. Let's do a lesson in how terms of service works and how licensing works when you buy a license. Okay, so I had seen something about this making the rounds on Twitter, where somebody's trying to like out Ubisoft for, yeah. So the original tweet is as of this right here. I mean, it's gotten 21,000 likes and everything. So Ubisoft is making a precedent on Steam as Assassin's Creed Liberation HD will not be accessible following September 1st, 2022, even if you already bought it, a bar new low for consumers. Again, so I was just talking yesterday on stream about like how people really need to actually learn and figure out how stuff works in gaming. Because this right here, note this title is not accessible following September 1st, 2022. So this right here is maybe the only thing that could make you go, hmm. Um, but if you know terms of service, it's like if you bought the license for something, you have bought the license for it. Now, I have said in the past also that now this it very well could be something like this would happen. But the only time that this would actually happen is if there was something super controversial or there was a licensing issue within the game itself. So, the only time something like this would actually happen and you would not be able to access the game whatsoever at all is if there was like adult content. We've seen this before with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas with the hot coffee stuff and all that. We've seen it in other games too, where it's like all of a sudden, yeah, like okay, prime example. Way back in the day, the guy game got pulled from shelves because there was an underage girl in the game and whatnot, and there wasn't legal. Legally they couldn't have the game on store shelves, so they took it off from. You cannot buy that game anywheres at all. No way. So it's extreme cases like that, or maybe like a loot box situation over in Europe or something. They might pull a game off because loot boxes, promoting gambling or something. Like that's another situation too. But it's extreme situations like that a game would be actually pulled because, in all honesty, it's a company at the end of the day. Ubisoft is a company. They don't care whether or not you are using their game or whatever the case. They want you to buy stuff. They want to get your money. They are a company at the end of the day. Now if you have already bought it and this game was just on sale or whatever, as I've heard, uh again, they're trying to get your money. They're trying to get you to buy stuff. Now why would they take, this is the same thing of like I was hearing that the PS3 servers might be going offline sometime, and yes, the PlayStation storefront stuff and all that, when that was going down, of like, oh, you can't purchase games on PlayStation storefront. In all honesty, I think it might have just been a marketing thing for Sony to get eyes on the PlayStation 3 and Vita and PSP and all that stuff. But so could this be a marketing thing just to get eyes on this whole, just because maybe this is a low seller? Possibly, very very easily, possibly it could be a really dumb marketing team thing to do, which we know Ubisoft's marketing right now is, the last few years has not been the best. They have done some marketing that has pissed a lot of people off. So yeah, it very well could be. This is probably just an accident, though, as I've heard some other people say, from people that work in the games industry, which I would 100% agree with that. It's most likely just an accident. Somebody over at Steam clicked in the wrong button on the wrong thing. It's human error. It happens. But anybody with half a brain in their head should know it should instantly click in after so many years of us knowing that terms of service. If you buy something, and especially the people who buy games physically, should absolutely be, just going, no, that's not how this stuff works. Because anybody who buys games physically, the reason why they buy it physically is so they always have a copy that will always work. Again, I do this because if you own something like, a game that has been taken off from store shelves, I guarantee you go and pop that game into, unless you are running completely offline, no updates or anything else. Yeah, it can stop an ISO from working with one patch update. It can easily happen. But This as soon as I saw this on Twitter, because I saw this a couple days ago, I do believe on Twitter, and I was just like, no, that's just a typo. I wasn't going to actually make a video on it, but then I guess it blew up 21,000, 2,000, almost 3,000 retweets. Um, yeah, it's ridiculous that people would even think that this is 100% legit at all. So this was another one. Blacklist is, DLC within this product as well as online elements and features will become unavailable. The base game will remain accessible. Again, this is probably what was supposed to go on every single one of the Ubisoft titles that are becoming not able to buy anymore, or DLCs not able to buy. So again, this is another one of these things with like always online gaming too. You guys, like I've been stressing, I've been saying for years now, you gotta remember anything that is always online, like Warhawk or one of those games back in the day on the PS3 or PlayStation Home or something. The stuff that people bought inside PlayStation Home, they're never going to be able to use again. Now, that's because the game client itself is gone because the servers are down. This is the reason why I always say always online gaming is a terrible thing. Like your Ghost Recon, your Division, your, all these games that Ubisoft are like, oh, we're going to make these games always online. Someday, Rainbow Six Siege is going to go offline. The servers will be shut down, and this is probably like in the PlayStation 6, Xbox, Game Pass, futuristic whatever land. We're talking like 10 years from now. Rainbow Six Siege, you will not be able to play it online anymore. You will not be able to do anything online with that. You'll probably be able to do like private servers, because that is the one thing that they're doing to get around always online stuff. But yeah, this news right here is not, it's not gigantic breaking news really, because we know that this stuff is bound to happen sooner or later. But absolutely, like I said, it should be popping into people's brains of like, okay, well, if I have this game legally bought of a licensed copy of the game, that is my licensed copy. Not to do whatever you want with it, but that you absolutely own a copy of that game as long as you have that account. You can make an argument for physical copies of games too, but in all honesty, I mean, the physical copy of the game is just nice so that you go online and you update anyways. So if they wanted to stop you from running the physical copy of the game, they could do the same exact thing. In all honesty, even if you have a physical copy of the game, DLC is still DLC. It's downloadable content. You would still have to download that from a server. If that DLC is not available anymore, whether you have a copy of the game, physical copy or not, you wouldn't be able to download the DLC either. I think most of all the Ubisoft stuff though is like stat tracking, like leaderboard stuff. Yes, the DLC. Here's the thing though. So the fan base, this is where the fan base comes in. And a lot of times this is where, like game companies do not like to promote piracy. They do not like to talk about piracy too much at all. But, it happens. Let's just be real. If Assassin's Creed Liberation HD is on Steam, there is a whole bunch of people that could end up cracking the game, and they can end up making it so you can run the game and the DLC on the PC. You just have to run a cracked version of the game. If Ubisoft was to possibly go, you cannot download this game, cannot play this game anymore. There is ways around this. Pretty simple and easy ways around this too, I might add. And again, like I am definitely not promoting piracy, but what I'm promoting is the fact that if Ubisoft was to be that bad of a company and be like, no, you cannot download a game that you've already bought and paid for, then there is ways around it. Like if you've bought and paid for it and haven't played it yet, then that's on you. There's ways around, I mean, there's so many games. Everybody has a backlog that we all have games that we bought and have not started up and played at all. Everybody has that stuff. So again, like if you have bought and paid for it, it's like, oh, I haven't even played that game yet. What the hell? I can't download it anymore. That's on you. That really is. That's part of your backlog. Find time to sit down and play it. Now is the better chance than ever before. So yeah, like I said, the first thing that popped in my brain was just like, there's no way that they can do that in terms of service licensing. It's basically illegal to because somebody has bought and paid for a license for that game. Game conservation is definitely one of these things that a lot of companies are not doing much with, but at the same time, it's like I just feel like they almost like the fan bases are doing so much of it themselves with cracked version of games, with emulators, with you name it. The gaming community has been doing it for years now, and I feel like if the gaming industry, there could be a happy medium here. If the gaming industry wants to go forward with everything, like use all the sales funding that they get from selling these games over and over and over and over and over again, whatever system it's on, whatever platform it's on. If they want to take that cash and make brand new experiences and leave gamers alone to emulate or crack games or whatever, like let the piracy, because we're in this weird spot right now where we have like 2 decades worth of games that it would take the actual regular gaming industry, like the corporate gaming industry. It would take that so much extra cash and time and money and profit and everything else to make emulators, to make everything back compat, to put it all on servers, to let us all download this stuff. It's almost to the point where it's just like, let's the gamers do that heavy lifting work. I mean, it's great getting remasters, don't get me wrong, but it's almost like Assassin's Creed Liberation HD. If somebody has a cracked version of this game and Ubisoft is like, okay, well, we don't care to get money off from this, like if they were going to pull that, then absolutely 100%. It's just like, well, then the game should become like shareware almost, like free software. um Again, there's a lot of there's two sides to this argument too, of like, well, game companies should really be making collections out of all this stuff, like the original Resident Evil should be available on modern day platforms, even though they're not. Assassin's Creed 1, they should really be making a remaster or a port or some kind to be able to play it on the PS4, because like Final Fantasy 13 or this Legendary Dragoon, or the list goes on and on and on and on of all these games that should be on the modern day console because they sold really well and they're fan favorites, but they're not. Again, though, there is ways of playing these titles. So in my boat, because I do a lot of stuff with emulation, I do check around like websites that host crack games, because in the past there has been stuff like Denuvo and instances like that where a cracked version of a Resident Evil runs better than the official patched version of Resident Evil, so it just runs smoother on a PC than on the console. Absolutely, yeah, I'd pay for it. But again, for Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, yes, you can fully, you can't purchase the game, but you can fully download it and play it. If you have the DLC already, I guess they're download it, keep the DLC in a hard drive or something, or just surf around. You can end up probably finding the DLC. I don't know. I've never looked for this. But yeah, just like I said, this is a major learning moment for a lot of gamers of like how the actual like laws and terms of service and everything works. And this also goes into game preservation. That's the reason why this video is going to be slightly long. I'm going to wrap it up, actually. We're almost into 15 minutes, but yes. Again, there is, definitely keep your voices being heard if you want remasters of old titles. And if you want to here's another really quick point. Do I think this one guy, as Twitch community likes to call them, do I think this post right here changed anything? No, not at all. This was just an error on the Steam library, whatever description on the library. This person he just ended up posting something up that caught viral and whatnot. This person did absolutely nothing. Really. It's like 2 seconds of fame on the internet. That's basically the only thing that the person did. It made websites like this, it gave them a way of making money. That's all the guy did. So he got 2 seconds of fame. This website got the clicks. Every other website got the clicks also of the for all these ads and everything that were on the side. these websites are getting paid for it off from your clicks because this one guy. Welcome to the age of social media and people blowing stuff out of proportion. This is super just blowing stuff out of proportion, and all these websites are making a buck off of it. This happens so often, over and over and over again. As soon as there's one piece of like a Bloodborne news, boom, it happens all over. So yeah, a couple different learning moments to happen in all this whole situation. This, it's not even a debacle. Like Ubisoft, they know they if they put out the next Assassin's Creed, it's going to sell super well. If they put out Assassin's Creed, this side scroller packs or whatever, they sell super well always. So yeah, at the end of the day, like, don't blow up over, like, something that is not needed to be blown up. Or if they were like, Ubisoft is now canceling Assassin's Creed, then I could see the Assassin's Creed community being like, the ones that are still major fans of it going, no, that would be acceptable or whatever. But yeah, this is just it. Like I said, it's one person's post that's blowing up and blowing up into news sources, getting clickbait off from it. That's all this is. So yeah. Anyways, go check out the rest of the YouTube channel. I have a bunch more Let's Talk, stream replays, and more. Go like and subscribe and share the video around and hit the bell for notifications when I post up new videos. Yeah. This is it's one of these stories once again. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, I will see you next time.